Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So apparently now, just simply being in line with the GOA, the Gun Owners of America, is enough to make you an extremist in leftist eyes. Today, we're going to be talking about an exchange between the senator from the state of California, Alex Padilla, who used to be the Secretary of State in the state of California, and Kash Patel, who is the nominee to be the head of the FBI, where he basically says that he can't be trusted because, well, Kash Patel is in line with the GOA, who is, by all intents and purposes, a civil rights organization. Let's talk about it.
I raise these questions because of an association I can observe between Mr. Patel and Gun Owners of America, a group staunchly opposed to firearm regulation.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. Now, if you're watching this video and you support the Second Amendment, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free, it only takes a second, but it really does help us out here quite a bit. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and dive right into this exchange between Alex Padilla, the California senator, who is about as far left on the Second Amendment as you could possibly imagine, and Kash Patel, and their exchange on the GOA.
I raise these questions because of an association I can observe between Mr. Patel and Gun Owners of America, a group staunchly opposed to firearm regulation, a group that Mr. Patel addressed in August, and a group that in December issued a press release applauding his nomination to be FBI director. Gun Owners of America has taken extreme positions, including the position that all background checks are unconstitutional, and that civilian ownership of machine guns is protected under the Second Amendment. Mr. Patel, let me remind you that as FBI director, you would oversee critical responsibilities related to firearm regulation, including administering the National Instant Criminal Background Check System. Yes, it's constitutional. It's in place for a reason. You would also regulate the distribution of machine guns to prevent them from falling into the wrong hands. Policies and programs in place for a reason. And given your hesitancy, given your answers, I'm concerned about your ability to do the job when it's not in alignment with groups like Gun Owners of America.
Okay, so now that you've seen the video, the first thing I want to point out is none of the views by the GOA are in any way extreme. The GOA is a civil rights organization who is trying to restore the constitutional rights of Americans, and nothing about that is extreme whatsoever, unless you're somebody who's trying to take those rights away, in which case I suppose you would see those as extreme. Now, the next thing I want to point out is got to be one of the dumbest things that I have ever heard said by a sitting U.S. senator, and I've heard a lot of dumb things, and apparently Alex Padilla even went to MIT. I thought their standards were a little bit higher than that, but apparently Alex Padilla believes that if you have a law that was passed and then signed by the executive, it is not only necessary, but it is immediately constitutional.
Yes, it's constitutional. It's in place for a reason.
Now, to you and I, that's completely absurd. I mean, we could point to dozens of cases where there was a state or federal law that was overturned by the courts for being unconstitutional. Just because a law passes, it doesn't make it constitutional. Just take a look at the state of California. The state of California passes whatever they want on a one-party system, regardless of what the Constitution says, and they know that's just going to get dragged out in court for the next 10 years where they're eventually going to lose anyway, but they'll just pass it just so that it's in effect for a short period of time. So we know that the state and the federal government do this often. Now, there was a little bit more that was brought up prior to the GOA being mentioned where Alex Padilla pressed Kash Patel about his views on the constitutionality of background checks. And in the past, Kash Patel has said that he doesn't believe that background checks are constitutional. And that's, well, because they're not. Now, Kash Patel responded that he would follow Supreme Court precedent, which is exactly what law enforcement is supposed to do, right? They're not supposed to be an agency that creates law or uses their own personal thoughts or feelings to advance their agenda. They're supposed to simply enforce the laws that are on the books, and if the Supreme Court says that this is that and that's this, that's what their job is supposed to be. So that's the answer that he has to give, right? I'm going to follow whatever the court says. That's his reply to that. But apparently that wasn't good enough. They want to make sure that they have somebody at the head of the FBI that is able to push the agenda, and since he's not willing to push their agenda, well, then he must be part of some, extreme belief. So again, it was a really eye-opening exchange. Now, even though I lived the first 42 years of my life in the state of California, I still somehow managed to come out an absolutist. So I believe that everything that he mentioned here is in fact unconstitutional. Now, I'd like to get your thoughts and opinions on this exchange between the two down in the comment section. So let me know what you guys think. And if you haven't done so already, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thumbs up, always appreciated. And share this with your friends. Thank you guys very much. You guys have a great day.